Welcome, Kingdom Warriors. We are Relentless Glory, and we are here to relentlessly provide motivation, education, and of course, relentlessly praise God. Coach Olivia here and Coach Jamie.
Yo, guys, what's going on? I'm Coach Jamie.
And I'm Coach Liv.
And we are
Relentless Glory.
It's so much easier when we were in person, right?
I agree.
Super stoked though, because we are still, through the blessing of technology, able to bring you guys this content. So I'm super stoked for this conversation right now, because I think every single day when you and I pull up, at one point you're always like, "Girl, I'm just trying to love everybody like Jesus does. I want to love like Jesus. Want to love like Jesus." So, I want to ask you, kind of like, how long ago would you say that specific concept like kicked in for you, and what does that mean for you to love like Jesus?
March 2022.
A specific date.
I was in church, and one of our campus pastors from our other campus came and spoke, and it was just, you could feel God in the room. It was so good. And I was thinking, they called everybody to the front, and it was like, I don't necessarily feel like I need to go up there, but I'm gonna go up there, because I just, I already have a real good relationship with God, right? And the tears just started flowing, and all I heard was, love people like I do. Love people like I do. And I literally got down on my hands and knees, and I'm not that person. I'm just letting you know, that does not usuly happen for me. Okay. I'm not.
She's a strong chick. To see her emotional is like,
so
wow.
So I'm literally tears falling. There was this kid that was in there. He had never heard him preach, and they actually had on the same type of pants, they had on camo pants, and he just spoke and ministered to him, and that was the word he needed. And then a few weeks later, he got accepted to play college ball at this school, college football at this school. And they were really discouraged in that time. It's so crazy, just the different things that happen. But for me, it was I have to work on this. This is my new assignment. And throughout this process, I've learned how difficult it is to love like Jesus does. And so, yeah, that's really when it started. And I'm still very much on this, very much new and on this journey.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably for every single person. I mean, because we're all imperfect people. I think that we're always going to mess up with that. But what would you say now? What does that mean to you? I mean, just in case anybody who's watching that maybe doesn't have that close of a relationship, what does that mean? What is different about the love of Jesus that would be the love that we hear about all day, every day?
I have to be so much more self-aware of my thinking patterns, my speaking patterns. I have to call myself out straight up, because that's the only way to really correct the things that are not like him. So, for instance, I do this on the daily. I remind myself on the daily, because I get people to push my buttons. I had a table, and this wasn't even they weren't even difficult, and for those of you that don't know, I work part-time at a fine dining restaurant, and I had this table, and I was assuming a story about them. I was assuming something very basic, that she had these kids with this man and they weren't married, because she said, well, you should marry me. So I was thinking at least the son was his. First off, this is none of my business. It is none of my business to sit here and assume a story about people. Then I find out that they're both his children. She's been in the picture for the last 2 years, and she really treats those kids like her own. In that moment, I was literally telling myself in the back in like the kitchen, and I told my coworker, I was like, I'm super judgmental. Like I call myself out on it. I'm like, I
Mm,
have to stop this. This is not how I'm supposed to treat people. And I explained why, even though it wasn't like I was judging them. I was coming up with a story about them. Now there's situations that are a lot worse that I do, but that was just the most recent, like yesterday. So really being self-aware to be like, okay, this is when I'm doing something that would not be like Jesus, regardless of what their situation is. That's not what I should that make me think anything differently of them, you know? Being a married woman and seeing a woman with unmarried kids, like why would I even position myself to think that way if I was really going to love people like Jesus does? And in other situations, being able to take correction, um, and also being able to realize that it's more of a humbling situation too, just to see how much I am not like him, and it's more of a
mm,
pruning process than anything.
yeah,
I saw this thing the other day. It's like when Jesus hung around sinners, he didn't become like them. Like he didn't change, they did. I'm gonna be honest, everybody, we are not Jesus, okay? And a lot of people get around their sin before they have really overcome their sin, and they go right back into it because we are not Jesus. And I listened to Red Rock's service on Sunday, this past Sunday, and just spending time with God. You're not able to do the impossible without spending that time with God. So it has made me spend so much more time with God. So self-awareness, spending time with God and being able to take correction has been one of the biggest things for me, just to realize like and really truly having to humble myself in these types of situations and realize how imperfect of a person I am, you know?
right. And I think there's a couple keywords that, you also said outside of the ones that you definitely drilled into is just the word judgment. Like whether it's a good or a bad judgment is already, we're almost putting ourselves on this pedestal that we know better, that we're more righteous than what they are. And we're looking down on somebody and being able to be aware enough of the fact like, why am I doing that? Why am I doing that? I don't need to. Like, I don't know them. I should love them regardless of their story, right? Like, super side note, but like I feel like a lot of I don't know, the TV, but like America's Got Talent and The Voice and all those shows, they're also about like bleeding in with this heartfelt story. And then you get to see their talent. And it's like, oh, you just manipulated everybody to empathize and to feel bad and to be like, wow, what a warrior. When really it's like, no matter if they had a hard past or not, like they're still people. Like they're still never at any point, whatever type of judgment it is. And so I think like for me, like love like Jesus is that it's to just genuinely show up in love. And girl, I already got it ready. You know this. In Romans 12, it's at chapter 9. Don't just pretend to love others. Really love them. Hate what is wrong. Hold tightly to what is good. Love each other with genuine affection and take delight in honoring each other. So, to me, if we're going to love like Jesus, to be able to do that to a person I just met, to a person that I will never meet, that I'm looking at across the street or on the book of the face, right? Like, that is hard to do. And that's where I think, again, like, that's why we have a God. That's why we need a God, is because we are imperfect people pursuing a God. So, in order for us to be able to love like Jesus, we have to be self aware. We have to be willing to like own up to what it is that we're doing wrong and check ourselves in that moment and take it back to the word. Like, don't lean on your own understanding. Because I
Mhm.
know for me, and you and I have talked about this a lot in our polos when we're like, love like Jesus, love like Jesus. For me, I will judge a Christian who is already a follower of God that isn't loving others. I will really, really judge them. And that's where I need to have my heart checked constantly. For me, somebody who isn't a believer, I'm like, well, they don't know. Like, they don't know what this is. And so I'm so much more lenient and understanding and empathetic for those that maybe aren't on that, like that far on that journey. But then these people who already are Christians, I'm judging them. But I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. If you're a Christian judging another Christian, check your heart, Jamie. That's not loving like Jesus, right? Like you make flaws and you have flaws too. So yeah.
Yeah, it's man, and it's a struggle, especially in this day and age when we're constantly like
Reminded of
social media
comparison.
and just
Yeah.
out and about, and people are so they get so offended so easily.
Because they're
Um,
judging off of the highlight reels that they see.
and it's when you and the other thing too, when you know the truth, not just like the truth about these people. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what their
The
life is
truth will
really
set
like.
you free.
And then you just see it and it's just like they're only posting the good things. And I think that we, especially our generation and younger, we really have to be a lot more understanding in that um we can't judge a book by its cover. We cannot um just take everything at face value either.
There's
Um
a difference between, ooh, and we'll have to go into this one. Stay tuned on another episode talking about wisdom to know the difference and how to respond in those type of things, right? And how do we seek godly wisdom? Touch on
and
that.
we are supposed to hate what's bad. Like, I'm not saying love like Jesus and love the molester, you know, like for his act and be like, that's perfectly fine.
Yes, don't enable or support the action of that person, but you should still love them nonetheless.
Right, right.
Yes.
And and so that's where I have the most struggle when it comes to people that do things that are so hateful. And I just don't, that is a real, and that I have to ask God. What, one way that I've been really asking God to help me recently is, Lord, help me stop comparing. Help me stop judging. Help me, because when you ask God to help you stop doing things, and every time it comes up, you just go back, Lord, help me stop this. Help me
Mhm.
stop this. Help me with my unbelief. Help me with
Mhm.
this. You'll be so surprised how fast you are broken free of those strongholds.
Yeah, I agree. Anyone who is watching this, please like drop below. Like we would love to hear like what does love like Jesus mean for you? Is that a new concept for you? Please share that too. If this is a new thing where you're like, what does this even mean? Or what has your journey been like in learning how to love like Jesus?
Yeah.
Drop it below.
And if you're interested in hearing more from us, definitely sign up below for our monthly newsletter. Definitely join and be a part of that community. If you just want to have some more relentless glory in your life, we would love to serve you at a higher level.
Yes, now go out and live relentlessly for the glory of God.
Thanks for being here. Now go be relentless for the glory of God.